Welcome to an uplifting moment. Our theme, the right tool. With this subject, I decided I'd share it with you from my tool shop. It's a small 8x8 foot building next to our house here in Mexico. So let's talk about the right tool. I had a lot of branches to trim at our home in Florida, including palm fronds from a couple of small palm trees. I tried using a saw, but it was a lot of work. I need the right tool, I told my wife Diane. Now she's a good wife, never arguing with me as to whether or not I really need a certain tool when I say I do. Working in my favor is that I do try to be conservative in the tool acquisition department. After all, when you buy a tool, you're buying yourself some work. I headed to my favorite big box store and found what I needed. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know it was called a lopper. I guess that's because you can lop off large branches with it. It's similar in function to a handheld pruning shears, except it is much bigger and has two long handles you can grasp and push together so you have lots of leverage and can slice through a thick branch. Wow, did it ever work? I showed my wife the pile of branches on the ground that I had lopped off in a short period of time. I told her I just needed the right tool. I said this to reinforce the concept, so the next time I have to bring up the subject, she'll be accommodating. It's true, of course, I am not making this up just to get more tools. The right tool makes all the difference. Tools are designed for certain tasks, and that's why they make those tasks easier and more efficient. Use a substitute tool, a tool not designed for the task at hand, and you run into trouble. In fact, when I do so, I sometimes run into trouble with my wife. Case in point, I've learned not to use a table knife when what I really need is a screwdriver. One of the great truths of how God works with us in life is that we're to be like a tool in His hands. Because He's God and always smart and wise, He's designed each of us to be exactly the type of tool He wants to use specifically in the set of life circumstances in which we find ourselves. This means, of course, that we can't do everything we want to do, can't do everything others can do, and can't be an expert and talented at everything. Each of us is uniquely made and has a unique calling from God. The key is to believe we're made by God for the purpose for which He's called us, for the set of life circumstances we're having to face. Then we're to yield to Him, to let Him get His hands on us so He can use us for His good and His glory. It's the way to finding the greatest peace, fulfillment, and satisfaction in life. The Bible says in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 21, "Therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from what is dishonorable, he will be a vessel for honorable use, set apart as holy, useful to the master of the house, ready for every good work." Thank you for joining me for this, an uplifting moment.